Everyone, Reid with Valor Ridge, and today's Patriots Day, April 19th, is an important day for me, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you watching this video. This is the days of Lexington and Concord on 1775, when a group of patriots decided that they didn't want gun control and that they didn't want anybody taking their food and their cannon and anything else that they deemed fit to just take away from people. Message of the video today is about courage. And I really had an experience last night that really impacted me. I was out to dinner with some friends and some people that I'd met for the first time. And one of the individuals there, Mr. Eddie, he showed me some courage last night. And not to get into too many details, but Mr. Eddie's been diagnosed with ALS, otherwise known as Lou Gehrig's disease. And it's a degenerative neuromuscular disease. I don't know the particulars. I just know that eventually you can't move at all, and it happens slowly or even quickly sometimes. And in his case, it's moving along pretty rapidly. So, he can't walk. He can move his upper body somewhat, but it happens pretty quickly. And there's nothing that there's very little that you can do about it, if anything. And I was talking to him, and he had this overwhelming sense of gratefulness, despite everything. And this guy worked hard his whole life. He worked hard his entire life to save up and buy a place. He and his wife bought 400 acres, where they could farm and have cattle and goats and everything else, and tractors and everything. And as soon as they bought it, that's when he was diagnosed with ALS. Imagine working hard your whole life for all that, and playing by the rules and doing the right thing and doing what you're supposed to do and saving up and purchasing your heaven on earth, and then having that happen. And a lot of people would be bitter, myself included. I'd be pretty bitter about it, I got to be honest with you, but he wasn't. He had a sense of gratitude for everything. And what I want you to understand from this is that courage comes in many forms. And I've served with people that had a great amount of courage. In fact, one of the people that I've served with in the Marine Corps, who's no longer with us, Corporal Jason Dunham, got the Congressional Medal of Honor because he jumped under a grenade in Iraq. I was not there, but I knew him. I competed against him in many physical competitions and our super squad competitions. Very respectful guy. So I've served with guys that had courage. I've served with police officers that had a lot of courage. I've served with a lot of people that knew what courage was, but this was a different kind of courage that I saw out of him. When I saw Mr. Eddie, he had a courage that really is untouchable. The other guys in the military and the police, that's courage. That's good, because to some degree we have some kind of control over the outcome, and we have to fight physically with our hands and our heart as well. But Mr. Eddie, he was fighting with faith, man, and that was something that I very rarely have seen it in my life. And we were talking towards the end of the night. He says, it's moving along, but next will be my voice. I won't be able to talk, so I'm grateful for what I have right now, and that I can actually talk. And it just blew me away. It blew me away, the amount of courage. And the thing that he said to me, folks, I want you to take away from this, was he said, I'm going to fight this. And he had a look of determination and resolution in his eyes. I'm going to fight this. Think about the willpower and the amount of mental strength and the courage that was demonstrated with that. And I came away from just interacting with him, I came away like thinking, man, dude, that's real courage. Maybe we need to redefine what that is. And in class, we try to teach people about grabbing hold of your courage and fighting on despite what the odds are. But with him, there's different forms of that. And I just, anytime that we complain about things, I want you to think about, here we are, most of us can walk, most of us can talk, most of us have control over our hands and our speech and our eyesight and our hearing. And so I find it non-coincidental that I interacted with him, right before Patriots Day, because those guys had courage as well. And hopefully you'll watch this video and reflect on what your own personal definition of courage is, and what your resolve is for your life and for your family, and what you hold dear and what you are willing to fight for. And I think you know, we've got to reflect on these kind of things periodically, because it's not just about the guns, it's not just about the politics, it's not just about the history. You know, sometimes courage begins at the it always has to begin at the individual level. And you could be an inspiration for somebody without even knowing it. For your example of courage, you know, Mr. Eddie has really impacted me, and I know you watch the videos. I know you watch them all. So I hope when you watch this one, man, that you understand that your fight, it's a good fight, and you're influencing others, even though you got a heck of a battle in front of you, man. But never quit, never give up. You're never out of the fight. This is Reid Henrichs with Valor Ridge, reminding you the lessons that we learned written on the tombstones of others. We'll see you on the ridge.